Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am Is There No One Else? In the video I'm bringing you today, we are going to go over a new gear set available in Greymoor, which is the Venomous Smite set. Now, for those of you guys that don't watch, that haven't seen any of my gear set reviews, I attempt to go through the sets and new gear available for each new PTS cycle and try to basically determine if it's viable for PvP. That's what these videos are. They're pretty quick and to the point. I show you the test, I show you the proc, I kind of give you my thoughts on it, and hopefully it just saves you guys some time. You know, maybe, you know, it becomes kind of a pain sometimes to farm this stuff to figure out if you actually want to get it, and then you spend all those hours farming the correct gear, and then you find out you don't like it, and you know, you could have spent your time doing something else. So that's what these videos are for, because I've definitely been there, and it saves me time. So with that being said, guys, let's dive into it. This is a new gear set. If I remember correctly, this is an Overland set. So you get it in the new area. 2-piece weapon crit, 3-piece weapon crit, 4-piece weapon damage. So all damage so far for the 2, 3, and 4-piece. Not ideal. You know, I would prefer weapon damage and stam, but you know, it is what it is. 5-piece, dealing critical damage, inflicts Hunter's Venom on your enemy for 10 seconds, dealing 25-32 poison damage to your target and nearby enemies every 1 second. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. So, it stays for 10 out of 15 seconds. It seems like it's got a pretty long proc duration. We'll see what it is and what it does. I already tested a little bit before. It is a ground-based AoE, and I'll show that to you. And from my personal experience, I'm not normally a fan of ground-based AoE damage dealing abilities. For how I play, because it's too easy to move out of. You know, it's too easy for people to move from it. But if you're defending, like if you know you're going to be doing a lot of fights on flags or in a tower, or you know, if you're doing battlegrounds and you get in those rugby style scrums where all the teams are kind of stacked on top of each other just trying to kill, you know, like nobody's really doing any damage at first because every team has a healer, and so they're all just kind of stacked up. This type of set will be functional in those fights. If you're trying to 1vx and you're kiting and you're dodging around like it, I think people are going to move out of it too much. But I wanted to show you this set, and the interesting part about it is because it's an AoE and it's an AoE dot, it actually stacks really well with Azurblight's Reaper. So I wanted to show that to you as well. You know, if I was going to run this set, this is probably the other set that I would consider running with it. This came out either last patch or the patch before, but really quickly, when you deal damage with the damage over time effect, you apply a stack of Blight Seed to your target for 5 seconds. At 20 stacks, the Blight Seeds explode, dealing 15,000 disease damage to the target and nearby enemies. Now, I did a gear set review on this set a while back. The more dots you have, the faster this ticks, and the more explosions you get. So if you hit a bunch of people with dots, they will all explode. So I'm going to hit this group with Brawler. One of them are going to take critical damage, and it's going to proc the set on the ground. You see the set procs on the ground? That's how big the circle is. So it's a pretty big circle. It's not super easy to move out of, but you see... Oh, sorry. I was talking too much, but if I go, and I hit it again here, and I dodge, like one dodge roll gets me out of it. But you see what happens. With Azurblight, if everybody's taking all these stacks, you see everybody just taking all this extra damage. And what I didn't know until I put on this combination is Azurblight's Reaper counts as melee for whatever reason. I did not know that. And so when that procs, you'll see my Selene go off. I'm not doing any melee damage. I thought that was actually kind of interesting. But yeah, Azurblight's Reaper is a very interesting set because it's, you know, all those explosions are basically mini proxy deaths that do disease damage, and they defile. And although this isn't, we're not talking about Azurblight Reaper specifically for this gear set review, I think this is how I would try to coincide this new Venomous Smite set. You know, if you're going to try and run this on a ground, you want to make sure you're kind of defending an area, kind of holding your turf against, you know, more people or groups of people, and in those types of fights it would actually work out very well. I think Stam Sork and a Stam DK could probably utilize this the best. Like I said, the more dots you have rolling on somebody, I'll show this to you, but the more dots you have rolling on somebody, the faster it's going to proc. And so if I proc this, you see we have the poison injection dot, we have this, and if I get my Dawnbreaker, you'll see it'll be like he will basically explode much faster than before. So you see that, I don't know, that took what, 10 seconds or whatever. So if I hit him with this, and we proc this, and I hit him with a Dawnbreaker dot, you'll see he will explode a lot faster because he has more ticks on him. Come on, buddy. There we go. So yeah, it's just those sorts of things. So if you're a DK and you use a Noxious Breath, like an AoE Noxious Breath, Stamp Sork with their Hurricane, like those sorts of things, if you got Caltrops on the ground, that will also work. It'll proc the set, and then you'll get multiple stacks of Azure Blight. I think this is a pretty unique thing, but it's very specialized in how you're trying to fight. I don't think this is going to work very well in 1BX. I don't think this set's going to be very good in CP. You know, unless you're stacking with something like I said, like Azure Blight, it's too easy to just dodge roll and get out of it. You know, like you see this on the ground, you're like, oh, dot damage. Okay, I'm no longer in dot damage. Now you have to wait 10 seconds to proc it again, and now I'm out of it again. So those are kind of my thoughts on the set. I don't know. Obviously, you know, it's going to need some real-world testing, which isn't something we can really do on the PTS. But wanted to get your thoughts as well. You guys, if you want to let me know what you think, if you're going to go out and try and farm this set, if you have an idea in mind that maybe I didn't bring up in this video, I'd love to hear from you. But yeah, that's going to be the end of me talking about this. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.